Now, I'm looking, thank you very much for actually making a chance to be able to be here and even to be able also to take care of certain things here and there. Today, my friend Patrick is not there, but I really appreciate for those who've actually joined. And I can see a new face here today. So that is fine. So now today I want to discuss about exactly working for Asians. Yeah, working for Asians in Kenya. Now, for those who know very well Asians, basically in Kenya, the Asians that have really dominated Kenya, and there are so many in Kenya, these are actually Asians from India. They are very much dominant, and there are a lot of businesses, and it is believed that what brought them or what made them actually to stay in Kenya, it is during the Kenya-Uganda railway constructions, during the times when the Brits were actually constructing these railways. And it is believed during then that India was also a colony of Britain. And since most of them were skilled laborers, they understood how rails are being constructed, and that is how the Brits actually ferried them from India to Kenya. And they really played a very big role in the construction of the railways in Kenya. That is both Kenya-Uganda railway. And the story of Uganda also, they ended up actually, occupying both Kenya, Uganda, and there's some elements of also Indians in Tanzania also. But in Uganda, after some time, they were actually, they were actually moved away because of the great atrocities that the Idi Amin Dada did. That is what we are taught in history, and that is what the books are written. But if Idi Amin was there to speak for himself, then we don't know exactly what will have happened, though. But that is what we've read from the books, that Idi Amin actually contributed into chasing away Indians from Uganda. But leave alone that. Now I want just to speak about Kenya. Now Indians are actually, especially Asians from India, they're the major source of so many employments in Kenya. Like when you speak of private sector, actually they've contributed a lot in providing employment to a lot of Kenyans. And that one is very much recommendable, because you look at the role they've played in ensuring that the economy of Kenya is actually stabilized and all that. They've really played a bigger role. And not as much as the way the Brits have played, not as much as the way the Israelites have played, and not as much as the way Americans have played. Because if you look at some of the mega companies we have here that are actually playing a bigger role in Kenyan economy, those companies majorly are from maybe the UK, Israel, and America, so to speak. And there are other parts of the country, other parts of the world, like you find there are also, Australians and Japanese who've opened their companies here, and some elements of Koreans too. But when you speak of these small-scale middle-class businesses, that actually covers a lot of common mwananchi in Kenya, in terms of house helps, okay? In terms of house helps, in terms of shop attendants, in terms of maybe, casual laborers in different factories. Like you can speak of steel mill factories, you can speak of maybe rye plies, plywood factories. You can speak of maybe other things like some elements of sugar sector. They've also gone there, even though it is in a smaller way, but now they are really making a very huge impact in that. And in so doing, they've actually, played a major role in ensuring that those common wananchis, those common man in Kenya, at least they have something whereby they can actually, make a living out of it. And in Nairobi, it is self-evidence. In Nairobi, it is self-evidence, because the government has never employed quite a number of people. The majority of people who've been employed in Kenya from those small sectors, from contractors, from painters, from tailors, from shopkeepers, shop attendants, from supermarkets. Okay, even though right now it's actually commendable. Right now we can see now Kenyans are coming up with a lot of big supermarkets now. They're actually overshadowing Indians in that sector, especially in the retail management. Indians are now being actually swept out. So what Indians are only remaining with is in the production sector, that is the manufacturing sector, and some elements of distribution. But Kenyans have now dominated into retail. They are really dominating into retail sector. Like you look at some of the major supermarkets in the country, you find that they are actually owned by Kenyans, the really typical Kenyan, yeah. But initially, some years back, these supermarkets were actually dominated by the Indians, and they ended up actually, providing a lot of employment to people. Even today, they are really doing that. Which that one I want to say I recommend, and I actually thumbs up. I congratulate them for that, and actually it is very good. It is very good, because if anyone that comes to Nairobi for the first time, and I'm sure for those who've cleared maybe Form 4, and when they look at both sides, their parents have nothing to offer them, and the only options when they come to when they come to Nairobi, one of the options is that they will find themselves working for an Asian. Okay, either in a construction sector, either doing construction, that contracting company is an Asian company, or either if they are, our ladies, they will find themselves being employed by an Asian doing some household work. We even have chefs who are being employed by the Asians and all that. So in one way or the other, you will find yourself actually, getting employment from the Asians in one way or the other. And that is one of the greatest and major role they've played in ensuring that the economy of this country, and ensuring also some element of casual laborers and income. People can get income in whatever level they are in. But that one now aside, I want just to speak to you my experience as working with the Asians. Okay, my experience as working with the Asians, and I know if you are in Kenya and you've never had an opportunity, or maybe you've never worked for an Asian for the rest of your life, man, you are very lucky. Okay, you are very lucky. But for anyone who has gone through hustle in life, and for anyone who understands what hustle in life is, okay, and especially if you do not have any godfather around you, okay, definitely in one way or the other, you will find yourself in the hands of these Asians. You find yourself working for them. Okay. Now, I remember mentioning some times back that after finishing college, I was looking for a job. And a friend of mine actually, introduced me. He referred me to one of the Asian company that was, by then, they were actually in the western part of Kenya. And they were doing actually distribution and retail. So I ended up finding myself working in a supermarket. Okay, I ended up finding myself working in a supermarket. So I began working in a supermarket right from college. I started working for these Asians, and I will not mention their names here, because for the sake of their protection and for the sake of their also dignity, because they are people I respect so much. So I will not actually mention their names here. So they gave me an opportunity to work with them. So I really did this job with them. I started just like an offloader, because and that is one thing a lot of young men need to know, that when you come from college, whether you've studied, irrespective of what you've studied, it doesn't mean that when you get a job, you'll definitely be given the job that you've studied. Okay, for you to be able to do that job, and for you to be able, to be entrusted with that, so the owners of the company need to understand, okay, that they can trust you first thing, and they need to understand that it is a job that you can do, because the fact that you've come from school, it doesn't mean that you are qualified for that job. What makes you to be qualified for that is the experience that you have, because experience actually speaks volume. than just, you know, papers and all that stuff. So I had actually graduated as a computer they call it what, information technology. That is what I had done, by the way. That is what I had majored on. And then I expected actually to begin as an IT specialist within the company. So one of the most shocking thing is that when I went there, I was led to one of the stores. So when I was led to that one of the stores is that I started doing a job of offloading. Okay, I started offloading. You know, goods will come with a truck and then you do an offloading. You know, beba. So you will hear people say bandika tatu, bandika ine. You know, we are offloading like bundles of unga. You know, you're offloading bundles of unga, and this is December. It's a lot of rush hour. Trucks are really lined up. They want actually to deliver their products, and at the same time also customers are really, you know, buying and all that stuff. And if there is anything I will ever advise any young man, if you're looking for a supermarket job, make sure that you are really ready to work, because it's not easy as it may look. You know, those people that you see them standing on the shelves, some cashiers and all that stuff, don't think it's easy. You wait when it is rush time. That is when you will really know that job is really hectic. Okay, so I did offloading there. I did some offloading for some time, and you know, with the good physique that I had, very hardworking young man from Western, and having gone through what I've gone through, you remember, having slept on the streets and all that stuff, and I realized, okay, this is the opportunity. This is the opportunity. And even having come from now a job that was less paying, that was being a security guard, which was actually less paying, and now these guys are willing to pay you more than what you are earning from security. But that is a job that you're supposed to do, you know. So I started actually offloading. And even my friend who had actually, you know, referred me there, he was not sure that if I would really endure, you know, doing that work. He thought maybe after 1 week, 2 weeks, I will give up and go away. But when he came, inquired, he was told the guy is still there, hanging, you know, working so hard. And then after working there for 2-3 weeks, these guys realized, hey, this person can really work. So they took me out of there from offloading, and they took me to the cashiers area. So at the cashier area, I was the one behind the cashiers doing some packaging and all that stuff. So I did packaging, you know, once, you know, the cashiers have tendered all the products for all the goods that the customers bought. Now it is your responsibility for you to ensure that those products are packed into a very nice package, and then you hand them over to the customer. So we were just there, you know, doing the packaging and all that stuff. So I did quite a number of things within the supermarket. Then after that, that is when I was entrusted to be, you know, to cut the long story short, now that is when I was entrusted to be actually the manager of one of the branches. Because for you to have been a manager in any of the Asian work, yeah, any of the Asian employee, for you to see them as a manager, these are people who have experience in each and every area within that shop. They know what happens in offloading, they know what happens in packaging, they know what happens in labeling, they know what exactly happens in the shelves, they know what is happening at the cashier level. They understand those, because for you to reach to a level of a manager, you must have gone through different areas and you've worked there for some time, which is not actually easy, because I saw some of the guys that we were employed with, some of them actually, you know, gave up and they went away. But with me, you know, I was like, if I live here, where else do I go to? And I have a wife now, I have I have children to take care of, so where do I go to? Okay, I don't have a godfather whom I can rush and complain to, you know. So it is me and this job and me. So I had nothing else. The only thing that was left to me was to be strong. And that was what it is. To be strong was the only thing that was left for me. And I knew that I need just to be strong here. You know, I just have to endure and I just be strong. So I really endured there, and I worked in each and every sector. And I thank God that I was able to have a very soft fast mind and a fast brain to understand things, and to understand, to have that product knowledge of so many things. I ended up actually learning that. And even I had an opportunity even to work in the bakery. Okay, I had an opportunity even to work in those bakeries, you know, those supermarket bakeries and all that stuff. There was also an opportunity to work there. I had an opportunity to work there. I knew how, you know, they were doing mixing, rationing. If they wanted to produce bread, what they were supposed to do. There's some elements of doing pastry, what kind of stock they were using and how much stock they could use each and every day. So I was well-rounded within those supermarkets. And that is when now this Asian told me, now from what I can see and from what I can look at you, and then I've been also going through your papers, I realized that now you qualify to work as a manager here in this shop. We know your profession is IT, but we want you just to be a manager in the shop here, so that you can oversee some of the things the way they are, and even be able to ensure people are trained well. So I became a manager in one of those supermarkets there. So I started overseeing the operations, because having known in each and every areas, I knew exactly if the sales are low, what we were supposed to do, and if the sales were up, what we were also supposed to do. At times even I will send some of the representatives. If it was on a Sunday, there were some representatives who will send them to different churches there, because we knew those churches have customers. So we will send some of our representatives there, attend church there, you know, and give testimonies and introduce those members of that church. We tell them, look here, we are representative from this supermarket, and we've come today to worship with you. We really love God and we value you, and we also invite you to come and shop with us every time you are in Kitale area. You just know that we are the guys here. So that is what I used to do. Every Sunday I would send different people to different churches every Sunday, and from there we ended up now started receiving a lot of, you know, customers coming. People will come, those who will come to buy bread and milk, a matchbox and all that. They will ensure they come because they knew that these members here are members of their churches. They have members of their churches working in those areas. And at times I will even tell them, if you have a young man that is looking for a job, we are very open. You can just bring them, introduce them to us, and then we can see what we can do. So those pastors were really tied to us, and they started now encouraging their members to be coming to shop and all that stuff. And luckily I didn't know that some of those members in those shops, some of them were, you know, teachers, civil servants and all that. So when they get their salaries they will come and buy in our supermarkets, do their shoppings at our supermarkets and all. Some of them even became loyal customers in our supermarkets. Okay, so that is how we used to do things. But now, as working with this Asian, one thing I ended up realizing, okay, and these are actually key points to note. Now, this one is not to discourage anyone, okay, because a job is a job, and anyone that is looking for a job, please do not discriminate any job. As long as you need to survive, I will not discourage you from working anywhere. That if you get anything, ensure that those jobs are well, and you do something for your family. So you end up not actually, you know, having a negative attitude towards working for these people simply because maybe somebody told you and all that stuff. Okay, so don't actually be discouraged. Okay, don't be discouraged. You keep on keeping on, and at the end of it all, Heavenly Father will open ways for you. But these are some of the things that I discovered, and I don't want to say that this is how all, you know, all Asians will operate. Okay, mark my words very clearly. This is not how all Asians will operate. I know there are different people who operate differently, and I know I've met different colleagues who've worked for different Asians, and they've told me some of these Asians treat them differently as compared to what you know, other Asians do treat them. Okay, now, but for me specifically, and the experience that I've had, this is what I ended up discovering working for these people. Okay, working for these people. Now, one, I ended up discovering this, that even if you are a professional, okay, you have your degrees, or maybe you've qualified for a certain course, okay, and even if you work with them. Okay, like for example, for me, I'm an IT specialist, a graduate of information technology. And if I work with this, when I was working with them as an IT specialist, actually they did not actually, focus so much on the qualifications that you had. Okay, they did not focus so much on the qualifications you had. You can be there as an IT specialist, but at the end of it all, finding yourself doing a different job. Okay, doing a different job other than what you had studied. Now that is point number one. I don't know, is it because they do not recognize professionalism? They do not recognize people's papers? I do not know, but that is what I saw. Okay, that is what I saw. Now point number two is that if it so happened that you are doing a certain job, let me say if you are even an accountant, or even, I will take an example of myself. If you are now an IT specialist, okay, did information technology, and it so happened that there is another Asian there who so happened that he had done the same, you are doing the same job with that Asian, okay? You're doing the same job with that Asian. You're both IT specialist, okay? Now, one thing is that your payment will not be the same, okay? You will not be paid the same, irrespective of how effective you are in that job, effective in your skill, and even if maybe that Asian, he's not as effective as you are, or maybe he's not as qualified as you are, but you so happened to be working in the same department, you are doing the same job, believe you me, your payment will not be the same. Okay, your payment will not be the same. The Asian will tend to be paid twice than what you are being paid. Okay, that is how it is. Number one, factors and first consideration, they will always consider they are Asians. Okay, so even if you are accountant, you are doing the same job, or even if you are an African and you are a chief accountant there, okay, and then you have an Asian there who is junior to you, but believe you me, that Asian will be paid more than you, despite the fact that you are a chief accountant. He could be just a junior accountant there, or a junior IT specialist, but the amount of money that is going to be paid, he will be paid more than you. Okay, that is what I actually discovered. There were some Asians who were being paid more than I earn, and even though you are the driving engine, you are the person to push things and all that stuff, but at the end of it all, when it comes to checks, they are actually way ahead than you. So what happens? You will work so hard, bring profits into the company, ensure you organize everything for a face value, so that when your countryman looks at you, they know, oh, there are Kenyans working here. But when it comes to the bank checks, when it comes to the salary, these Asians are being given more money than you, who is actually working so hard. Reason being, I don't understand. Is it because of Africanism? I don't understand. But that is what I ended up actually discovering. And that was not once, it was more than once, because I've worked in different departments with these people, and worked in different departments, and at times you are so close even to the directors, you discuss with them and all that stuff. Sometimes you give strategy on how the company is supposed to move, and strategy on how we can effectively roll out or implement IT projects and all that. They will take your projects, they will take your ideas, they will take everything, and then at the end of it all, it will be like them now doing it. Okay, it will be like now them now doing it, but while in actual sense you are the one executing everything. Okay, but after the execution is done, whole praise and wonders goes to that junior Asian, and then the prices, the salary, the junior Asian will earn more than you. And I ended up realizing that that is what they will do, and it was so sad. It was so sad. Now, the other thing that I discovered also is that you may be doing a professional job, and that is one thing I ended up discovering, that the reason as to why they pay you less, because they also want to be right with the books, so that in case maybe the authorities will ask them okay, they will want actually to back it up with the books. So what happens when they employ you in their systems, they don't actually indicate you in a category of professionals, okay, or maybe they will never put you in those categories, because in Kenya, according to the laws of the country, is that there are different categories of employees who are supposed to be paid differently. So if you are professional, it is well defined that you are being paid, the salary that you're supposed to receive is a certain amount. But now when they're employing you, okay, they will never want you actually to identify yourself as a professional. What they will tell you is that they will give you a paper and tell you, now we want you to write this. So at the place of work, you just put a general worker. Okay, they will tell you to put yourself as a general worker. Okay, so in their system, it reads you are a general worker. But while in actual sense, in reality, what you are doing a professional work. Okay, but in their system, they've indicated you as a general worker. But that Asian, okay, that Asian that they pay a lot of money, in their system, they will indicate him or her as a professional. They will say he is a professional, okay, he's a professional accountant, when in actual sense he's a junior accountant. And then in the office is your junior accountant, you are the senior accountant in terms of operation, but in their system, you are a general worker and she or he is a professional or a chief accountant. And that is what they indicate them in the system. That is how, in their system, that is how they will do. Okay, that is how they will do. And then at the end of it all, if you start, if you start complaining, because I've seen a lot of people will complain. Some of them even will seek authorities from the legal minds. They will seek advice from the legal minds. But once they realize that you've actually gone to report them, what happens is that they will find out, the person that you reported to, bribe them a lot of money, because that is one of the disadvantages that we do have in this country, Kenya, because your money speaks for you. Even a foreigner can do anything to you because their money speaks for them. So they can simply go and bribe those professionals, okay, and tell them, okay, look here, this case, just leave it. We will handle it as a company. While in actual sense, they will never do anything. And the person you reported to already has been given his boom, has given his share, he's gone, forgets about your case, and there you are stranded. And then they will tell you, now the option is just continue working, and we will pay you with that amount. And if you feel like you can't work, there are so many Kenyans looking for jobs. So what happens? You can go, you can excuse us to the company. After all, it is our company. It is not your company. You're just an employee here, and that is what they will do. Okay. So one thing I ended up realizing, that they don't actually, consider any African who is a professional. That is now relative to the company I worked for. Okay, relative to the company I worked for. They don't look at you as a professional. They don't trust your certificates or your degrees or whatever. They don't. They will actually do to you whatever they want to do to you. They don't put that into consideration. And this is something very strange, that you come there with a degree, your degree is out, and then they will, take you as a general worker. You will be paid as a general worker, but while in actual sense, the work you do, you are doing a professional work. Okay? In their system, you are a general worker. Okay? But the kind of work they've assigned you to do, it is that kind of work that your degree says. Your degree says you are an IT professional. Yes. In the operations, you'll work as an IT professional. But in their systems, that is in their HR systems, it shows their category, you are a general worker. So they will pay you like a general worker, while in actual sense, you are actually, executing a professional job, a professional duty, which is very contrast to what the law is and all that stuff. So that is one thing I ended up actually discovering. Okay, you will never be at the same par with these Asians. They will always ensure that you are down, and they will always underpay you. But if an Asian comes, even if he's doing a very small job, they will actually be paid more than what you, an African, you are being actually paid. So to me, that is some essence of, that is some sense of racism, which should not actually be tolerated. It should not actually be tolerated in this country, because everybody deserves, you know, he deserves actually to be paid relative to his performance. Everybody deserves to be treated equally. Okay, everybody deserves to be treated equally. So why will you try to, you know, segregate people and try to, you know, separate people, and yet they are doing the same work? Or even this person that you are underpaying, he is doing more than this other person whom you are overpaying, and you are only overpaying him or her simply because she's Asian. And this one, you are underpaying him and he does a lot of work, and you are underpaying him simply because he's an African. You know, to me, it never sank well, and I think that is not right even in the eyes of God. That is not right, especially for us who are actually honest and just in the things of God. I feel like that was actually not right, because everybody deserves to be treated how better. You know, people deserve to be treated better, and that is something that I ended up discovering. And I remember, with my honesty, because sometimes I don't want to keep things to myself, there was a time I went and asked, and I remember in that company I was working for, I went and asked, like, why is this way? Why is it that I am doing a professional job and you're paying me like a general worker? You know, you're paying me the payment of a general worker category. And even in the system, why do you indicate me as a general worker, okay, when I'm executing this job as a professional? And they were not happy about it. They were not happy about it. Yeah. So after they realized that this guy will bring some strikes here and all that stuff, so what they did is that they dismissed me. Okay. They ended up dismissing me, and they told me, look here, we cannot work with you anymore, so you can just go and look for your any other employment somewhere else. And that is how they that is how they did, simply because I was only asking for something that was true, and I was just asking for my rights, because I understood that was not right for sure. Now, the other thing I ended up realizing is that when you work with them, okay, I don't know, is it a trick they always do so that they can evade maybe tax in this country? I don't understand. But every year internally, the company, they will keep on changing the name of the company after every 5 years, I think, or after because sometimes we'll be told that okay, now you guys, the terms of this company that you're working on, it has expired, so you need to apply afresh to this other company. So if you are working with company A, then as employees you will be told to go now sign a contract with the company B. Though it is the same company, it is still within the same umbrella, but now the names keep on changing every now and then. The names keep on, I tell you, these people are very corrupt. Yeah, these people are very corrupt, and that is what they will do. Now, reason number one, I ended up realizing when I was trying to find out, you know, looking for legal advice, I ended up being told that is one way they can actually evade taxes. If the other company had accumulated a lot of tax, you know, and they feel like they are not able to pay those tax, what they will do is they will simply run that company as bankrupt, open another company, and you as employees, you sign new contracts. In other words, you will not claim the benefits for the other company. Now, if you are to claim service, you will not be able to claim service because you will see like the other company has shut down, and now you've been given an opportunity to work for another company. So you will not actually be able, you know, ask for service for that other company. And that is how most employees who work for these people, they end up losing a lot, simply because after every certain year, those companies keep on changing names. Okay, it's like they are opening new companies, and those other companies are dying every now and then. So today you'll find it is company D, after 4 or 5 years it is company C, after another years it's company D, but employees are the same. So what these employees are being told, they just keep on signing contracts of different companies, while their services of working with those companies that are being terminated, those services just go by wind. Okay, those services, when you demand them, they will just be hot air. You know, you will just hot air, and that is how they use you. So by the end, at the end of it all, you end up realizing you've worked for this guy for over 10 years or even 20 years, but you have nothing to claim from them. Legally, you have nothing to claim from them. You know, legally you have nothing to claim from them, exactly nothing, because they will tell you, look here, we've just signed with you a new contract. This is a new company. So if you're looking for those services for that company, which company were you looking for that company, you can go and claim it. But we are a new company. That is what the law will tell you. Okay? That is what the law, but in actual sense, they are the very, very people, and these are the tricks they do to people. So you find at the end of it all, somebody works for these Asians for over years. When time comes for him to retire, to go home, hey, this guy, he has no service to be given. He cannot actually be given any service simply because of the tricks these people do. The tricks these people do. Very dangerous. And that is why anyone that is working for these Asians, you need actually to put your head above water. If you have any other scheme or any other scheme that you can join so that you be saving your money in terms of like pension schemes and all that stuff, I will advise you do so, because those companies, these people, they will never give you anything, and they will keep on playing with you, use your energy, use you to the best, so that you can bring them maximum profit. But at the end of it all, you end up actually living there more poorer than you came, because you've wasted your time there, you've wasted your energy, and by the time you leave them, you do not have any energy, and you cannot actually secure any employment anywhere else because of maybe the age has catched up with you. So what happens? They've just wasted you there, and thinking that after leaving there you will get your services, you end up realizing there is no service because of these contracts. They kept these companies, they kept on, they kept on actually, changing every now and then. And this is their tricks. These are very bad tricks, very, very bad tricks. And I don't know if the government is aware of these things. I really don't know, but that is their trick. One way is that they are trying to cut off tax, so that if a company has stayed longer and they know they've accumulated much tax, and if they will go pay for this tax, the government will charge them more. What happens is that they shut that company and they render it bankrupt, and then they end up opening another company. And then they tell the employees now to sign fresh contracts with them. That is one thing also I discovered. Now the other thing that I also discovered with this, let me call them characters. Yeah? The other thing that I also discovered with these characters is that there is no single day they will ever confirm their employees as permanent workers. Never a single day. Every year, the employees will keep on signing contracts and contracts and contracts and contracts, because they know a permanent worker, there are certain benefits that they will actually be entitled to. Okay? Now, this is different from those companies which are shut down and then they open a new company and then they tell all the employees to sign up, to apply as new employees or sign contracts as new employees with that new company. It's like now you are being employed afresh. But now this one is that you are in this company. The laws, I think the labor laws, they say that you're supposed to be on probation for about 3 months. 3 months or 6 months there. You're supposed to work as a probationer, to be on probation. Then from there, after probation, maybe you are given a contract of 1 year. And then after you've worked with them for a contract of 1 year, then that is when now they can confirm you as permanent. But they will give you, first of all, a probationary state of 3 months. Okay? After every 3 months, you sign a contract of probation. Okay? After every 3 months, you sign contracts of probation until 1 year is done. And once the 1 year is done, that is when now they will give you a contract to sign. Then when you sign that contract, you will be signing those contracts every year. So if you work with them for 5 years, you will only be given contracts of 1 year for 5 years. Okay? There is nothing. They will never confirm you as permanent employee. Never. They will never confirm you as permanent employees. They will never. And that is what is happening with these Asian employees. You see them here. Somebody has worked with these people for long, but they will never confirm them as permanent. What they will do is that every year, they will make them sign a contract, renewal contract with them every year. And then after several years, they will shut that company and reopen a new company and then tell the employees to apply afresh and sign with them a contract again. That is what they do. Reason being is that they're avoiding actually to give these employees the benefits they will so require. That is how these characters are actually dealing with our people in this country. That is how I was so much sad to find a lady who had worked for these people for over 25 years. She started working with them when she was very young. She was about 20 years when she started working with these people. And she worked with them for over 25 years. A time came when this lady now, she was supposed to retire and go home and take care of other things and all that stuff. And at the same time also, she was not feeling well. So because of her health conditions, she was advised she needs to rest. What happened is that what they gave her, they only gave her a salary of that month. And they told her, look here, this is what we've given you. And we thank you for a good job you've done for us all these years. What you can only do for us is that bring us your daughter or bring us your son that can also take a place here for you, work here while you'll be going home. And then this daughter will be supporting you. While you are at home. But just that is the only collateral they can actually give you a chance of maybe bringing somebody to work for them, another fresh blood to misuse and to underpay. That is what they do outside here, and I'm very sad about it. I'm very sad about it. I'm very sad about it. At times even I was asking, does really the government really knows what exactly is happening? Have they even done their due diligence to audit these people? Okay? Employees here have no rights. Employees have no rights to these people once they have been employed in their companies. Our employees have no right. I think they apply their caste system on these employees. You know, one thing I ended up realizing that Indians, they have this thing called the caste system. That if you are born in a servant's caste class, you are born to be a servant, you can never be a boss. So you will be a servant for the rest of your life. And this is what they treat. Actually, they treat Kenyans. They treat them like servants, their caste system. And that's why when you are employed, even when you have all these qualifications, they don't take them seriously. They don't take those qualifications seriously. You are a servant to them. You need to work like a slave. And you should be underpaid. Even if you're doing a good job, you should not even be told you're doing a good job. Another Indian will take that honor, not you. And that Indian will be paid for the job that you are doing. And this is very sad. This is actually very, very, very sad. It is not actually fair between men and God. If we speak of fairness, okay? It is not actually fair. And what the Bible says, the way John was telling those Pharisees, that you need actually to treat your employees very well. Treat them well. Treat them well. They are also human beings and they are working for you because they also have responsibilities. They need to educate their children. They need to, they need to provide for their families. Some of them have people who are actually, looking up to them. And then here you are, you mistreat these people. Seriously. God is also watching. God is also watching. Don't think that you are the only children of God because you are Asians. That you are the ones who have rights over everything. God is also watching the way you treat these people. And they are very, very calm, because we know Kenyans are very welcoming. Kenyans are very peaceful people. And Kenyans, they love visitors. You know, they love visitors. That's why anybody that comes to Kenya, they will be treated well, because we are honest people. We are very welcoming. We are peaceful people. But it is so sad that when somebody takes our kindness as a weakness, you know, somebody takes our kindness as a weakness. Kenyans, we don't like arguing with people. We don't like arguing with people. And especially the way we know our systems. Some of our government systems are fully corrupt. Huh? Fully corrupt. You take your case there, they will never even defend you as a Kenyan. They will listen to this foreigner simply because they are loaded. They will listen to this foreigner and your case will be toppled away. Those are the experiences we've had. A lot of people have taken these cases, even to the labor, to the Ministry of Labours. A lot of complaints have been filed there. But the problem is, they don't take care. Surely. They don't. They don't. Because once they go there, that guy will rush there, you know, hit them with some money and tell them, Bana, you keep quiet. And after hitting them with some money, then the employee is left on his own. The employee is left on his own. The employee is left on his own. So that is why Kenyans are really suffering, despite the fact that their own government cannot provide jobs for them. It is so sad that a population of about 50 million, and I don't think these 50 millions, all of them have reached the age of working. Because 50 million here, they are babies, they are students, they are those who are, you know, aged, who have retired. You know, so about a population of about 25 million people, let me just say that about 25 or 15 million people, those are the ones who are capable of working. They are accountable. Maybe they've cleared college, they are graduates and all that. Can you imagine 25 million people? A government cannot provide employment for these 25 million people. You subject them into the hands of these Asians. Really? Sometimes the scriptures tells us that we have to speak the truth. We just have to tell people the truth. This is not called for. Kenya is a country that has a lot. It is a country that has a lot. We cannot compare Kenya with China. China that has a population of about the entire Africa. But we know the history of China. We know the history of China. They were capable of actually raising people from poverty. Over 1 million people from poverty to a certain economical index. But here we are, just to create jobs for about 25 million people, because a population of about 50 million people, there's a population there. It means we have a mixture of babies, we have students, we have... Now when you look at those population that is job ready, it's about even 15 million. About 15 million people only. And you look at even our GDP is about 1 trillion. That is what they say. And a GDP of about 1 trillion cannot provide employment of people of about 15 million people. Because if you create jobs for about 15 million people, what happens? There are those who will be employed either directly or indirectly. So in other words, no Kenyan will lack a job here. But you give an opportunity to somebody who comes to exploit your people and is not accountable even to the laws, simply because they are loaded. They can simply bribe their way out. And I'm praying with the new president. I think he is going to fix things right. I know him. He's been actually a very good guy. He's a very straight man. And more so also is a man who reveres and worships God. And I think like King Josiah, I think he's going to fix things. He just has to. He just has to. Because people are really suffering. And people are really suffering from the hands of these people. Kenyans have been rendered poor from the service, from the skills they've earned. They've paid a lot of money to earn these skills in the universities. And then they secure a job with somebody who doesn't even give a damn of those skills. And he treats them like shit, simply because they are black people. It cannot happen in this country. It can't. You know, it can't. And these are some of the things that I ended up seeing. And I was very sad Why exactly is this happening in my own country? And I'm not speaking of other people. I'm speaking of myself, because it has happened to me. It has happened to me. It has happened to me, and I will never want to see any other young man going through what I've actually gone through in the hands of these people. And now look here. If a professional like me can go through that, what of those ones who are just simply casual laborers? Those who are just simply laborers? Those who are, are not as such like they have papers, but they have just those inborn skills of maybe doing just this, general jobs. How much more are they going through in the hands of these people? How much more are they going through? They are just being used to make them more richer, but at the end of it all, they don't actually appreciate their work. A lot of Kenyans build houses outside here. They do construction work, very heavy. But you'll find an Indian who's just brought from, India. They just come and sit in the name of their supervisors. Something that even a Kenyan can do it here. They are here seated, just supervisors. And they are being paid a lot of money than that Kenyan who is struggling up there, trying, to deal with steel, do some plastering. They carry logs. At the end of it all, this Kenyan will go home with about 500 shillings. But this Indian, for just him sitting there and making noise, they are given about 5,000 shillings a day. They work, they are paid 5,000 shillings a day. And a Kenyan has done a lot of work there. He's being given 500 shillings to go home with. And if you are a fundi, you are a fundi. You are only given, if you are lucky enough and you found this an Indian who is a little bit understanding, they will give you 2,000 shillings. And you are a fundi. A fundi, I mean somebody who does construction work, is a skilled laborer. But he's being given 200 shillings, 2,000 shillings. But an Indian who has just been brought from Asia knows nothing. His is just to come, work at the site, walk at the site, make a lot of noise and insult people. A day, he's being paid 5,000 shillings. A day, 5,000. Now that is the world for you. That is the world for you. And this is something that it should not happen, because everyone is equal and every Kenyan is actually defended and protected by the law. And we have, they are called union of laborers, which actually they do nothing, because those unions, that is where those people will pour money every month to shut their mouths so that they cannot defend their workers, and that is so sad. That is so sad. It's an abomination in the eyes of God. It is so sad. It is so sad. And that is I feel like I should just let you know, brothers and sisters, that this is what actually people go through. So at times when somebody tells you they have a job, first of all, you need to inventorize and find out where are they working. Because just having a job, it is still not enough. Just having a job is still not enough. At times our members cannot actually be able to pay their tithing simply because of the harassment and the little they get outside there. Little they get outside there. They are not being paid as they should relative to their skills. And I was shocked. There was one time a sister came to me and told me, look here, my brother, I'm working as a cashier in this supermarket. Yeah. But there was just a problem that came in. There was a problem that came in, and I was not actually involved in this problem. And these people decided not to give me my monthly salary simply because she had a short of about 2,000 shillings during that day. She had a short of a variance of about 2,000 shillings that day. And you know what happened? That Indian told her, no, I'm not paying you a salary this month. Just because of that short of 2,000 shillings. And luckily enough, that short was actually well defined and it was verified, because there was a misconception. But at the end of it all, it was actually verified that it was not her problem. But what happened? They never paid her. They never paid her. And simply because we have no one to cry to. Only the Lord is there. But there are people who have no one. They don't have godfathers to cry to. They go through a lot, but they just leave it to the Lord. They just leave it to the Lord, and they tell, okay, Heavenly Father will take good care of it. You know, this sister was never paid. Her family thought that it was almost even bringing wrangles to her own family. The family thought, the husband almost thought that this lady is using money somewhere else. You know, she has other things that she doesn't want to tell me. But only to realize that the sister was very right. These people were not paying her. We went even and talked to that Asian man and told him, why are you not paying this sister her salaries? And the Asian man did not want even to see us. He didn't even want to see us because she thought we were from government. So he did not want to see us. What he did, he just called, of which later we were told that he was calling the labor union. Okay? The employees union. He was calling them and telling them, why are these people coming to disturb me when I'm done with you? I've already finished with you people. Why are they coming to disturb me? You know? Because they always pay money to those officials. They pay money there. You take your case to a labor union, and once that guy knows that that is where you've taken your case, he will send big money, huge money there. And then these guys, once they are paid millions, they disappear and they do not want even to listen to you again. They will tell you you are lazy. You are not working, you're lazy. If you don't want to work, you go home. There are so many people who are looking for work, they will come and work. And that is what they do. At times, even these people, I'm told, they fund even politicians. They fund politicians. A certain politician will be funded for his campaigns so that he may come or she may come and protect them from what they are doing to the employees, so that they may be protected. And this is a shame, actually. It's a big shame for an African leader to do that to a fellow African who is struggling to make ends meet. Instead of coming up with the laws to ensure that our people are well taken care of, they get what they voted you for, all you do is just to go there and take money from these people simply because you want to encourage them to continue, you know, oppressing your people. Continue oppressing your people. It is not right in the eyes of God. It is actually not right. It is not right. It is not right. My people, it is not right. I'm a Kenyan myself. I'm not speaking like as if I'm not Kenyan. I'm a Kenyan myself, and I'm speaking this out of experience. It is not right. It is not right. It is not right. It is not right. And you know what? You will do that to people, but the Lord says, the curses shall be upon your children. And those curses will come to your children, and they will go up to the 4th generation. Your children will bear your curses. Because you take advantage of people who are suffering, men and women who are in tears. They work so hard for their labor, but at the end of it all, after work, they have nothing to show of what they've worked for. Simply because somebody somewhere has protected these characters, is protecting these characters, which is not proper. Which is not proper. Otherwise, thank you very much. That is what I feel like I should just share with you, brothers and sisters. It is actually very, very, very sad that some of our brothers and sisters, okay, who may not actually be able to live up to the standard which Heavenly Father requires of them because of these challenges. At times, they end up even not capable of paying tithing. And at times you may ask, why is this person not able of paying his tithing and yet is employed? You may not understand. You may not understand until you sit down with them and talk to them. And that is when you may actually understand. Sometimes it is very sad. I've seen some leaders will even judge these brothers and sisters for nothing. Okay? You just judge them. You tell, this one does not pay this. This one is not capable of doing this. You just judge them. But in actual sense, how long have you sat down with them? Have you ever visited them in your own house? Okay? Have you even taken time to have an interview with them over the issues that you are seeing as a leader? Have you interviewed them? Have you talked to them? Do you really understand what they are going through in their homes? So let us not be hasty in judging other people. Okay? Other than, let us not be hasty in judging other people. And I remember last Sunday's lesson we discussed was about judgment, and Jesus Christ was warning people, let us not just be judged, because it is high to be a judge. You should not judge another lest you be judged also. You know? But ours is to help our brothers and sisters to overcome the challenges and to overcome the weaknesses, so that they may be also heirs of these great blessings that Heavenly Father is promising. But if we just sit there and ours is just to judge them, but you may not know, you may not understand what they are really going through. And a good shepherd must understand what the sheep is going through. Good shepherd need to understand what the sheep are going through, what challenges the sheep is going through. At times you may be forced, even sometimes if the Spirit will guide you, you may be forced to go talk to these employers. Discuss with them. Tell them, look here, we have very honest employees who come from our church. Okay? And in their honesty, please make sure also when you employ them, treat them the way Heavenly Father will require you to treat them. Sometimes you may have to discuss with these people so that they may know that there are people who keep principles. Okay? Who keep principles, and they deserve to be actually given what they've worked for. Okay? What they've worked for. Because as members of the church, we do not believe in handouts. Me, myself, I don't believe in handouts. Because handouts, to an extent, does not even help. Okay? Monies that you've just been given for free, it doesn't sometimes help you. It doesn't. Because that one which comes freely, it can easily also go. Okay? I don't believe in handouts either. I don't believe in always helping people, handouts. No. But provide a way on how these people can be able to actually, take care of themselves. Okay? Take care of themselves. Okay? If it is an education opportunity that it is there, just announce it to your people. Announce it to your members. Tell them, look here, there's an education opportunity here. Please take advantage of it. If there is pathway, please announce it. Sometimes back, I was so shocked that I was told there are some leaders in their local branches. They were so economical in announcing the opportunities of pathway program. Okay, they were so economical. I don't know why they were hiding it. Okay, I don't know why they were so economical, though. So they were so reluctant to announce that there is this opportunity that anyone who is willing to further their education, they can still further this education. I didn't understand why. It had to take a couple missionary to come and announce it and tell people that this is what is there. You can do A, B, C, D. Sometimes I don't understand. Some of our local leaders, I don't understand, and yet you are called of God there to be able to help your people stand on their 2 feet, so that Zion can be strengthened, and Zion can increase in its borders, and it can also flourish in her beauty. Why do you want to be an obstacle? I raise my case. Thank you very much for watching this video, and thank you very much also for being there here. And please remember to subscribe and hit a like. Please, I will be very much glad for your support, and I will be very, very much humbled if you do that for me. Please make sure you subscribe and hit a like button there. And even you can drop a comment if you have also other ideas on what can be done. Please, you can drop also a comment. If you have any experience that also you've gone through like I've gone through, please, I would like to know. You can just drop a comment there, and we may also be instruments in blessing other people. Otherwise, thank you very much. God bless you, and see you next time.